All righty, I have item number 8, and I will call that ready until Monday. Councilor Caldwell.
Thank you, Madam President. Blessings to all. Hope everyone's having a blessed day. I get quiet. I have items 9 through 15. Gotta change glasses. And we have a new commissioner. Let's go.
Tony Williams, Commissioner of Parks. How's everyone doing?
Welcome. We're good.
Be easy on me. Should be fairly easy. I have 8, which is just straightforward, kind of a no cost to the city contract renewal for cooperative extension services. Any questions on that?
Any questions, councilors? Nope. We can go on 10.
All right, items 10, 11, 12, 13 are contract renewals. This will be the second renewal out of 3 for architectural services. Any questions on that?
Questions on that?
Yes, ma'am.
So when they go through and they do these architectural services, are we going to come back and find holes and grass that hasn't been cut and things that's been taking place with these different contracts?
These are like on the front end. These are for landscape design services. So this would be prior to the project, help with the scope of the project, the design aspect. What you're speaking of after the fact is something that I'm well aware of, and I'm also looking into those contracts. Actually, I just uncovered that there might be a loophole in the current language of the contracts for grass, right? Not the grass being high, but I've been really looking at the fence lines. We got stuff growing up all these fence lines, and I wanted to hold the contractors accountable, but I didn't realize that. I said, let me look at the contract real quick, make sure it's in there.
Breathe, baby.
No, that
I just ran up the stairs. I just ran up the stairs so I could make it here on time.
I had to take my glasses off real quick to make sure you're good. You're good. Thank you for that.
Who's five? Okay, you want some water? But with the landscape design, doesn't that give them a kind of an overview of what they should be doing?
It's conceptual design process. So this is, these are the big guns that do the real fancy designs and the more intricate designs. It's a needed service, different than the contractual services that we use for maintenance.
Yeah, okay. I think we're instead of that one.
Moving on, item 14. Were there any questions on that, though?
No questions. We're good, but you can do 14.
On a Hayride, on a Hayride yearly event. Item number 15 is for our Christmas event, rental of horses, in the amount of $5,200.
Awesome. Any questions?
Just a comment.
Okay.
Two things. I will speak with you offline on 14, something related, nothing related to this item, but it's related. Want to thank you also for showing up last Thursday. You did good.
I did. You think so? Thank you.
You did good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for that.
Of course.
We had a Southside meeting, something that Councilor Allen had, instituted in the Southside Christmas tree lighting. And,
all about it.
It get exciting when I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you. Madam President, I'm all set.
Madam President, I have 16 through 19. We'll start with item 16.
Good afternoon, councilors. Matt OJ, Commissioner of Assessment. We came before you last fall to request a shelter rent agreement at Eastwood Heights, 49 existing units of affordable senior housing. Full-scale renovation is planned, but the number of units has changed, increased to 53. So we are requesting that Ordinance 775 of 2022 be amended to reflect this physical change.
It increased 53 apartments,
53.
53 units.
From 49.
From 49, yeah, just an addition of 4 with amenity space and all that comes with it.
They just reconfigure the layout, or how did they do it?
They are, am I live? I'm good. I think they're building out the former gymnasium into a partial gym with some apartments downstairs.
Any questions on this? Let's do item 17.
Coming to you to request another shelter rent agreement. This coming for Housing Development Fund Corporation to be formed by an affiliate of CORE, who is the owner of several parcels at the Inner Harbor. This one is 710 Van Rensselaer Street, which is roughly southeast, I think perpendicular to the existing market rate apartments there between that facility and our amphitheater at the Inner Harbor Park. They propose to build and operate 62 senior units.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, it looks like they already started because there's a bunch of construction debris back there.
I think that, could that be farther north on Van Rensselaer? I think there might be some site work underway up there, but this one, we're really early here. They're going to HCR for financing. They're a long way off from permits or development, but this is just setting the stage for them to hopefully get financing later this year.
Okay, because, I mean, I'm going to differ from my counselor here because I still got a bad taste. But I hope that when we do this, that we put in, you know, because I'm looking at the property that they have with Iron Pier, okay? And when you look along that stretch, they have people living there with their dogs that they're walking. And they're walking down the middle of the street to leave the apartments. So if you're going to keep sticking apartments up, sidewalks need to be put in place as well and not just left up to the city because we're not building those, they are. So I really, really hope that we're doing a long, hard look in this.
Understood. And I think, without straying too far from my lane, I do think the entirety of the responsibility for infrastructure improvements down there rests with CORE, that they'd all be turned over to the city when complete, but until then, they remain public streets with incomplete sidewalks. But ultimately,
With incomplete until when?
I think until, well, that really would be straying from my lane. Anybody here knowledgeable? and I am totally looking at Corey on this one.
You said that until it's complete, right? So Iron Pier is complete, so they have sidewalks in front of their place, but they don't have sidewalks for their residents to walk down Van Rensselaer.
So I'm guessing the answer is as long as they're public streets, it's on us to put in the sidewalks.
I think until they are public streets, it's up to them, but as long as it's an incomplete street,
They wouldn't be putting in
that's where digging
sidewalks.
is going to occur.
Right. I mean, I will say also, we have a walk at the Inner Harbor today. We're bringing a number of departments together to take a look at the Inner Harbor and identify some
Can
needs.
I walk with
So
you?
if- 1:30.
No, I'm just joking.
Meet at the
I don't
hotel.
wanna
We'll be there. But we've got MBD engineering, you know, lots of folks going there. So we can also talk about some of the gaps that I know that you've identified, President Hudson, where our sidewalk infrastructure, given the development in the harbor, it makes sense for us to make some investments there for.
Absolutely, absolutely. So,
Well, those were unimproved streets for a lot of years, so, I mean, until they started to be developed.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because when the state had that property, you know, they
Right.
tried to peddle it 3 different times.
Right. But as we attract more and more people to the Inner Harbor, we're going to have to make investments in
And
the
I want to
infrastructure.
point out, this will be the first actual mixed neighborhood I can think of built new with
Mm-hmm.
affordable housing plus market rate housing, so.
1:30 at the hotel.
I'll take a pass. I'm not really that impressed, but okay.
Commissioner, so at this point, though, we don't have like renderings or any kind of those details, or?
They've engaged in the pre-development process. I think we've seen some elevations, but nothing firm. Programming is pretty well fixed. They do want to contribute to the income diversity in the neighborhood and provide much-needed housing. But as far as any imagery goes, no, we're light on that now.
Transferable? Could they market this and sell it to a third party?
No, they would be locked in under regulatory agreements for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, would they get the LIHTC financing, which I think they're going for the 9%.
They're going for the 9%,
And
right?
so it's going to probably take maybe a year to probably get that. And then once that's locked in, then the shelter rent agreement sort of,
Once they close on financing, they can proceed with permitting, all that. When they get their CFO, when they deliver the first unit, that's when a shelter rent agreement would
it
kick in.
locks them into affordable housing, basically, so.
And is it just, it's affordable senior?
Affordable senior specifically.
Okay, there's a specification there.
We're in great need of that, too. In fact, we're great in need of housing on almost every level, so.
Any other questions on 17? Item 18.
18, we're requesting a change to the current assessment role. 117 Game Road is owned and operated, I believe, by the Charles Brady Center. They've had a nonprofit exemption in the past, did not get aligned with them on that this year, and we're restoring that nonprofit exemption now.
Any questions? Okay, thanks, Commissioner.
Thanks all.
President.
Thank you. Counselor Paniagua is, who's on her committee? Okay, go ahead, Counselor.
Hello.
To award a contract to Aetna for our retiree healthcare and pharmaceutical benefits effective January 1, 2024.
So with that, right, we know this is a switch for our retirees. How do we plan to get this information out to them that there will really be no change in their coverage? It's just change in the company.
Yep, so tomorrow we start planning with Aetna to establish some sort of rollout. We want to get that out as quickly as possible. So hopefully in the next week or so, we have some sort of communication to retirees, but the plan is to stay in constant communication. We have a plan for Aetna reps to be on site so people can physically come here if need be and answer any questions that they might have. But correct, the plan is not changing, just the administrator.
So this is all of our retirees, police, fire, city.
Correct.
So it may be, just my little brain, the fire people could reach their retirees and police could reach their retirees, because we haven't been very effective in getting out pertinent information, because we get all the calls that people don't know about certain things. So I really want to make sure that this is wide and spread out.
Absolutely. And we want to encourage people to reach out to my office. So we have benefits folks and we have somebody specializing in retirement, so we can answer all those questions.
So I'll just give them your number.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's what we're here for.
Sorry. Yeah, do you have an approximate number of retirees?
About 1,800,
1,800?
yeah, approximately. Correct. So this will replace United Healthcare's current contract. Or will not replace it. They will take the place, but the contract for United ends on January 1.
January.
So,
Okay, Mr.
Because,
Auditor.
you know, obviously, with the problems we've had with St. Joe's and everything else, it'll add more anxiety into.
and I made sure to check, even though UHC and St. Joe's resolved, Aetna and St. Joe's are in contract right now. So
Okay.
no
So
worries
it's a
on
good
that.
move
Yeah.
then.
So,
Okay, thank you.
We're good.
right. Yeah, so the goal is to have all that communication happen well before, so in the next month. We want to start having those communications and having folks here, because we will be here through, hopefully through the end of the year. But to your point as well, we're working with union presidents to make sure that they are disseminating to their retirees what the changes are, and whatever meetings they have, if they want to invite us, we'd be more than willing to go. But we want to make sure they have the information they need.
Make sure you let the counselors know when the letters go out. Let
Absolutely.
people, okay.
Yep.
What I was suggesting is that you might idea that you all invite them, those reps.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Any other questions about?
Other questions? No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Gathers.
Thank you, Madam President. Of items 20 through 35, with a lot of questions.
Good afternoon, councilors. Mary Robison, city engineer. Item 20 is accepting a permanent easement from TLSP Coda LLC, which is a new apartment project on 399 South Crouse Ave. The right-of-way isn't wide enough to install a public sidewalk, so we are accepting an easement so that a sidewalk can be installed. It would be starting at East Fayette Street, or East Fayette, and going towards Genesee, 360 feet.
That doesn't affect any other business or anything like that with the sidewalk?
No, it's in front of their business.
Okay. Any questions on item 20? All right, 21. Thank you, Mary.
Good afternoon, councilors. Michael Lehman, Deputy Commissioner for Asset Management and Valuation. For item 21, we're requesting amendments to the ordinance extending the lease agreements with Rothschild Development Corporation at what we're calling the Madison Irving Garage at 445 Irving Avenue.
Any questions on 21? We're all set?
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
All right. 22.
Good afternoon, everyone. 22 and 23 are funds that we use for city-owned buildings. These funds used to be housed in engineering, but we felt it should be housed in DPW since we manage the project. So.
Okay. Thank you. Item 24.
Right. 24 and 25 and 26 are all SALT agreements for Upstate, Central, and Housing Authority. And 27, 28, and 29 are fuel agreements for the city of Syracuse, school district, housing, and Onondaga County.
We got 30. Thank you, Commissioner.
Item 30 is authorizing an agreement with Barton and LaJudas for the Erie Boulevard West pedestrian and bike improvement project for a cost not to exceed $296,000. This is for scoping and preliminary engineering fees. This is tip money, but it's the TAP program, which is all pedestrian. So we only get the 80% federal and 20% local. No Marchicelli, President Hudson. I knew you were going to ask that question. I have to look that up. I can't remember. I know it includes Geddes Street. I just can't remember each end, so I will email you.
Mary, quick question for you. You said it includes Geddes, right?
I believe so.
So when you're talking about Geddes Street, are they going to change that bike lane that runs into 690? Because that has always been an issue for me.
North of Erie Boulevard, the bike lane? That would be a Neil question.
Mm-hmm. That has always been a concern for me.
I'm not sure. I mean, we're just initiating design on the Erie Boulevard piece. So we'll work with Neil on that.
We'll work with Neil too, because somebody gonna get killed going across that highway on their bikes.
Okay.
Mary, this will take place between West Genesee Street to Geddes, part of Erie
No, this is going to be
West?
along Erie Boulevard West.
Right, Erie Boulevard West.
And it'll connect to Geddes,
So
which connects
this-
to Genesee.
To Genesee, okay. Because I'm sure that we're going to be very, maybe this isn't a question for you, but certainly a question for Corey. That stretch of Erie Boulevard West is littered with really dicey buildings and cars and all that. So I know our codes department has been very vigilant over there, but it'd be nice if we.
Okay. Item 31 is our other TAP project, also authorizing an agreement with Barton LaJudas not to exceed $183,750, which is 80% federal funds and 20% local, and this is for the Kirk Park pedestrian bridge replacement.
What are they actually doing on this bridge replacement? Do you know?
We're replacing the existing pedestrian bridge, which is in dire need of a lot of repair, so it's more cost effective to replace it.
So the bridge, explain to me, because I didn't know anything about this, and this is two parts. The bridge is closer to the creek,
It's across the creek.
so we're replacing the bridge across the creek.
Yep. Pedestrian bridge. And there will be public input. This is just the beginning of the project, so preliminary design, there'll be public input on both these projects.
So, I'm gonna come back. You said a buzzword for me, so I gotta address it. So with the public output, are you gonna talk to the different TNTs and the different community groups in that area to get
In that
their
area, yep.
input? Okay.
We'll probably we're required to have a public meeting and we'll invite or either that or we'll attend the predominant TNT group and invite any other ones.
I have a question. So Kirk Park is having a lot of infrastructure being done right now between the bridge, there's some structure stuff they're doing, and also
Canoe,
veterans, the kayak. Can we get a team together? Because it seemed like a lot of moving pieces in different directions and on different people's committees. And we want to make sure that the new commissioner, as well as myself and everybody, is on the same board, because anything with the parks, I would like to make sure that I know what's going on, because there's a lot of moving pieces, especially at Kirk Park right now.
Okay.
And it's great, so we want to continue to do it, but we want to make sure that we're using our resources in the right way, because there's a lot of, and that they don't collapse against each other, right? And making sure they make sense.
Yep. Good idea. Okay, number 32 through 34 is some Bridge New York funding that we got. So that's 95% federal and 5% local. And this is to rehab the bridge crossing Onondaga Creek at South Ave near Kirk Park also. But this is the South Ave bridge over the creek.
The car bridge.
Yep. Yep. So that's the bond ordinance, the agreement with New York State DOT, which is total amount being authorized is $315,000, and that's for scoping, preliminary, and detailed design. So bond ordinance, agreement, and project authorization.
Traffic. There's gonna be a lot of traffic. Okay. 35.
35 is authorizing a temporary access agreement with Onondaga County to close South Warren Street between South Salina, north of the Salvation Army driveway, to Adams Street and Billings Park, and it's so that we can use this area as a staging area for the STEAM school construction. So the length is, we're not sure when they're going to close this section of South Warren Street. They're going to give us at least 2 weeks' notice so that we can advise Centro, because they have to implement some measures.
That was going to be my question, because that's where Central, the hub, is right in that area.
Right across Adams Street, yep. I've consulted with them a few times, and they're fine with it as long as we give them the 2 weeks' notice.
So already aware, because that's going to affect, it's right next to ITC.
Yep, my school district is fully involved in this project.
Yeah.
I hope they know.
STEAM school. Yeah, I just want to make sure we're all on the same part. Thank you.
Yes, we're closing Billings Park.
So do we know where We Rise Above the Streets is moving their sandwich Saturday operation?
We are working with them. I know the mayor is having discussions with them as to where that's going to move.
Okay.
So this would be until the end of August 2025 is this temporary access agreement.
Duration of my time.
So everybody would have to travel. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All set. Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Councilor Hogan.
Thank you, President Hudson. I have items 36 through 38. The first one I mentioned is Eric Ennis.
All right. Good afternoon, Councilors. Eric Ennis, Neighborhood and Business Development. So items 36 and 37, these are companion pieces. This is a amending an existing ordinance, amending a contract for an additional 6 months for an ongoing training program that the city is currently operating for state-certified MWBE firms, known as the Business Growth Accelerator. We are actively undergoing the program and the curriculum, but the additional 6 months, which New York State has already approved and allowed us to be able to extend, would just allow us more time to be able to implement the program. So that would take us through March 31st of next year.
Average, how many people attend this program? Do you know?
We have 19 participants, and so the state set the criteria when we were awarded the grant funding for it. So it's across Syracuse, central New York, but then also we've extended other regions into New York State, so as far as the Mohawk Valley and even in the Finger Lakes region. So Omni Procurement Solutions, as well as UMIA, the Upstate Minority Economic Alliance, they have been serving as our subcontractors, providing additional networking support and certainly helping build and increasing their capacity. The intent of this program, when the city first applied, is to support and grow and expand the capacity of these firms to be able to bid on some of these very large state contracts that are coming down the pike.
So it's MWBEs, right?
Correct, and they had to be state certified, so they already had to have that certification to be able to participate.
I get that. So I'm just gonna ask, maybe you have an answer, maybe you don't. How many MWBEs we got in Mohawk Valley?
So my understanding is of all the regions, the Mohawk Valley has among the lowest. And so, yep. But one of the things that, from a regional perspective, in the intent when we were first discussing this with the Mohawk Valley, is that there's a lot of synergy between projects that are taking place out there and projects happening in central New York. So the goal is that to increase that pool, but also helping expand and grow the MWBE firms that we have right now in the Utica, Rome, and in that Mohawk Valley region. So
Because we have 19, you said, here?
19 total participating.
And
Yep.
by what I'm looking at is 30.
Correct. And so what we had ultimately done at the time when we were working with the state, the 30 was the scope and the target and the aim. There are four different operators of this program. We're among 4 across New York State. And one of the things that we've been doing is that we've had BGA programs elsewhere in other regions like Albany and then in downstate. So we ultimately had 19 fully sign up, participate. We marketed, promoted the program, but ultimately at the time we started the program, 30 was our goal, and we're at 19 that are fully participating now.
And the program has been going how long? I don't.
So it's about a year, and so it was around March. So what we're ultimately doing is extending this for a 6-month period, which still is a full 12-month curriculum. Originally, we're going to start it early in 2023, and then we took more time really doing the recruitment aspect of it. So we started in March. This will take us through March of next year.
And you see yourself hitting that goal?
Yes. Yep.
Eric, this is more of a general question. Do we ever track some of these MWBE to just see through the training to see how they're doing, how they make out in terms of their revenues, in terms of how they just do generally in business?
So yes, and with this program, the state actually sets the criteria and metrics that we're tracking. So we're looking at how many contracts are they awarded, what was their revenue at the time that they applied to the program, and what has been their revenue or gross sales at the time that they complete the program. And then we are responsible, we have to report that information to the state. The intent, of course, is to grow those numbers and expand. And so we're tracking those numbers right now.
And does our MWBE office or department here, do they utilize this information to reach out to send out a mass email or wherever that person may be?
Yeah, it's been twofold. It's been great because we're building the relationship and rapport with some of these additional firms that we otherwise may not have been working with, but also within the curriculum, city procurement is one of the modules that we're actually then including in terms of how to do business with the city, how to be applying, and how to be actually taking advantage of city bidding opportunities.
And during the course of this year, my last question, has any of the 19 been awarded any city contract?
I don't know the answer to that yet. I can go back and check and verify. One of the things, though, the goal would be is that through promoting the city business opportunities and being able to work with some of these state firms, the goal is to increase that.
And I get that,
Yep.
but my goal has been for the last 10 years to be included. So,
sure.
Yeah.
So it is part of this program and others. This is something that, from a priority standpoint, that we're able to make sure that we're getting these types of bids and opportunities from these firms that we otherwise would really have not have done business with in the past. So one of the benefits of the program is we're certainly building relationships with these already certified MWBEs.
I mean, CIDA has a, what's that level, percentage as far as?
So we do have a 10% of the total
So
abatements
this
received.
would, because you're making these, relationships, you're building these relationships, they'd be aware of what's being.
Correct. So projects that are taking place locally, and then ultimately the developer who's receiving those abatements that you're referring to, they ultimately have to make sure they're able to work on those jobs. And so our intent is to we're highlighting and profiling those projects and those.
It's been my
bidding
experience,
opportunities.
people have more trouble, businesses have more trouble accessing to be a MWB certification than anything else.
Sure. And the state is responsible for that certification. I know a number. So they have been making inroads at ways to expedite that process. But our intent has been also to provide the additional wraparound services and making sure that when they are bidding on local projects, that they're competitive when they're doing so.
I said one more, but I lied. So since you're working with UMIA, right?
Correct.
When the RFPs go out, do we send the RFPs to UMIA?
So one of the great things, it's been a mutually beneficial relationship. So with UMIA, with Michelle, who's the executive director there, she is providing tremendous opportunities, bidding opportunities, events, flyers. We're then we're putting that information together and then passing it along to all the participants in the program and making sure that they're aware of these opportunities that they themselves can bid on. And then vice versa, the relationship with UMIA, so that when the city has opportunities, we are promoting those into the network that UMIA has.
Quick question. You said 30 in the short title, and then you said we have 19.
19
But
enrolled
then
in
in
the
the
program.
letter, it says 20 will be funded. So is it 20 or is it 30?
Okay, so I'll go back and revisit the letter, I think. So 19, so we're about halfway through the program right now at 6 months, and 19 is our count. So I think what we may just need to do is modify that letter to reflect the 19 that are participating. So thank you for the clarification.
Offline, I got something for you to help too. Okay.
Okay. All right, I'll come find you after this.
Are you doing 28 to 38
I
rather?
am, yeah, so I can speak to this too. So this is an amendment to a previous ordinance as well, and what this is related to is for purchasing related to the new city space at One Park Place, adding additional vendors. So one of the examples I'll give here is that we've purchased security equipment that we've had to get through additional vendors that ultimately weren't able to be sold through right price companies that we worked with for furnishing the space. So this adds these additional vendors as part of that previous ordinance.
Wait, what happened with Right Price?
So we're working with Right Price on the furnishings, and the point I was just making is that there's additional items that they do not sell, and we have to be able to be, in terms of the authorization to make these purchases, we're just amending the legislation to add those additional vendors.
Councilor, can I ask a question? Yeah, it's all, whatever that you're purchasing, is it furniture? Because right now, the legislation is written only for office furniture. Is it, because I heard you say something about equipment.
Security.
Yeah, I would use the term equipment that related to the office space, but.
Maybe we need to talk off base, because I think we can talk off.
Okay.
Yeah, because you mentioned security, but none of that's listed in the diagram.
Okay. What we can do then
Yeah,
is
we can
we'll-
talk about it
Okay.
afterwards and see what we need to do.
Okay.
So, I mean, the account number,
It's just NBD money? Did we put this money away when we were contemplating the move, or what? What was it?
So it is, I'm going to answer this question as best I can with my knowledge, but it is, so this was authorized for the purpose of bonding. So we have the authorization and that
So we're
set
gonna
up the account. But I cannot speak to the exact specifics behind. I just know that we identified the account number and it was a bonding, the use was bonding that was authorized and we set up the account for this
And
purpose.
the original vendors, is it off the state list or what?
Yeah, they're a state certified MWBE firm, but yes, they're on state contract as well.
I seem to remember us doing that, okay.
Yep.
$800,000 is nice piece of change. I should have been in the furniture business, I guess. Okay, I'm set, President.
All right, thank you, sir. Councilor Majuk.
Thank you, Madam President. I have item 39 to 44. They are all application. Chief, Let's make these quick so we can get out of here.
Yes, sir.
Jeez. Counselor. Come on, whoa.
Hey.
Wow. Lucky you don't have opposition. Jeez.
Moving with the New York State Department of Homeland Security. 39 will be looking for a bomb squad grant from fiscal year 21 for a portable x-ray machine, hand tools, and training.
With no local match.
No local match.
Any questions? All right, 40.
Number 40 is an agreement for another SHSP for the bomb squad for an incident response vehicle to replace an aging vehicle, maintenance on the vehicles, and training. No local match required.
Any questions? Thank you, Chief. 41?
41, I'm not sure if that's us or fire.
Oh,
It
that's
might be
fire. Okay, okay.
42.
42.
It's 42 is a application for a SHSP grant for critical infrastructure. 42, we are looking to get decorative barricades for the Clinton Square area to keep from vehicle attacks, but there won't be something obtrusive that is unsightly. And then the fire department wants some stuff there too, but I guess I'll let them speak to that. It's a split grant, and there's no local match.
Questions?
Negative. 43 is night vision equipment for our SWAT team. No local match required.
Madam SWAT, any question?
Good one.
Any questions?
44.
And 44 is application for another SHSP for up to $50,000. And that is for cybersecurity. It would be to upgrade 3 of our servers and to have an assessment of the security of our email system, make sure we're good and secure there. No local match required.
Thanks, Chief.
You're welcome.
Councilor, you come before us every 2 weeks, and there's always a bunch of grant applications. Whoever does that work for you over there should be commended. Because I can't remember any time when we haven't had a grant application.
I'd like to take credit for that, but Janet Burke's office is doing a great
She's
job.
right behind you.
With Jim Boyle, although I will say I send over everything I find when I find it. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but thank you.
Whatever your team is working on.
Thank you, Counselor. Yep.
No, the credit goes to Janet.
Thank you.
It's Janet.
Teamwork, it's teamwork.
Thank you, Janet. So item 41 for fire.
Good afternoon, councilors. Rick Kesselstein, Deputy Executive Chief of Fire. Item 41 is for a USAR grant, New York State Homeland Security. This is, we use it for training for our rescue techs. It's an annual thing. Right now, in 2 weeks, they're going to be doing trench rescue training. So they'll all be trench rescue technicians. We're making an application for this for collapse rescue training.
Any questions?
No, but what part of 42 are you involved with?
42, that's the critical infrastructure. We're looking for radios that are encrypted so we can't get hacked.
Okay.
Thank you. How's that for time? We did good?
Stop talking.
We did
You're
good?
taking your
All right.
time. Stop
I'm
talking.
done.
Counselor Allen.
Thank you. I have items 45 through 48. 45 was held over last time because the family wanted to be here. So this will be ready for Monday. And 46.
Where they at?
Trying to figure it out. They're back there.
Good afternoon, Council. Jake Dishaw, Deputy Commissioner of Code Enforcement and Zoning. Item number 46 is permission to the Acropolis Center ownership at a property located at 333 South Salina for 4 concrete bollards that will encroach into Bank Alley. This is mainly protection from vehicles.
Okay. So would it be there, so like if Acropolis was to move out of that space, they would take those with them, or would that remain in the street?
Yeah, if the protection's no longer needed based on the occupancy, we could have those removed.
Okay, and is it gonna be on the sidewalk part or like in the street of the alley? If that makes sense.
Yeah, it won't block require like pedestrian walking areas and egress, but yeah, I mean, it will be out in the right of way. Technically, like that's why it needs this permission, but yeah, it won't be blocking any vehicles or pedestrians.
Because it's already fairly narrow
Right
there.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of a unique situation where we've, you know, for the safety of preventing something tragic happening, we feel like this is a safety need.
Okay.
I'm trying to follow you. Okay, because when you talk about that, you have that Acropolis building, but then right across the street, I think it's the bank or something. So would they have access to that alley if you do that?
Meaning, would they have access to get them there? Or
To take their vehicles down there, if they have to get a delivery truck to come through there, would they have access to be able to do that?
I don't believe this is going to block any access to anybody else that needs to utilize it. I mean, it is a tight space. I realize that, but we have cleaned it up a lot over the years, actually.
But it's still tight.
Yeah, if you think back to what it was like maybe 10 plus years ago.
Did we talk to, Jake, did we talk to the bank and let them know, like, okay, this is the plan, so that if they had a question that we weren't thinking, you know what I mean? Because they are the neighbors, to make sure that it's not gonna affect them or anybody else.
They don't take deliveries in that spot. They're trying to block that area off, and correct me if I'm wrong, they have events there, and there's people gathering there, and they're trying to keep the car
It's
from
the
running
bank
them
alley.
down, right?
It's the back of the building. It's not.
But there's no delivery bays inside of that area that you're blocking, right? It's just.
That's my understanding. This is strictly for protection of people.
Gotcha.
There's no reason for a car to be in there, right? Other than going in there to hurt somebody, right? Cars don't go, they shouldn't be going through there now, right?
The park is down that street.
You can-
Why wouldn't
For
cars
deliveries,
go
then,
down
you know,
there?
like,
But you
there's no
still,
delivery base.
you got cars going down that street.
So are they stopping car traffic completely?
No, it's just the
No.
side, right?
Yeah, it's on the side. So
just
this
the
would prevent, like, I don't know, somebody's impaired or has a medical emergency or, you know, swerves that way. I don't know.
Yeah, so Bank Alley, you can drive down, you can walk down. So I was just asking like where they were gonna put them at, like if it was gonna be, like when you first turn into Bank Alley, there's no curb when you first turn in. So I'm assuming that's where they're going, to prevent people from parking right there. That's my assumption. But you can clarify it for us, Jake, when you have more information.
Yeah, here's Bank Alley right
Time and get back with us on that one.
We got until Monday.
I don't know that we've been in touch with the bank, so I can check on that.
I mean, just as a good neighbor, just let them know that's what's going on, so.
Jake, do you have this diagram in your book?
Yeah, trying to pull it up on my
If you
phone.
can, just to show us and point us, to show us exactly where these are going to be at.
Jake, you can get back to us on this one.
All right.
Yeah.
Item number 47 is also an encroachment. This is just for stone steps that in Eastwood on Glen Cove that will encroach 3 feet 6 inches into the right of way. Any questions on that one? 48 is also an encroachment. This one is for an existing paved area at 202 Leavenworth. This encroaches into Leavenworth 45 feet. the right-of-way is really wide and basically goes up to the structure just about.
45, I'll just hold for now. I mean, for 46, I'll hold for now. And whenever you get the additional information, if you can just send it out in the email. Obviously, pictures would help, but just let us know how that goes in the email before Monday.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the picture online. So we're approving them to encroach on the sidewalk or?
No. No vehicles are being permitted to park across the sidewalk. It would just be the area beyond the sidewalk that's right away. That whole front area is all right away. So it'd be, not exactly sure what you have in front of you, but the house to the right is similar.
Right, and it looks like all the sidewalk is just tarviaed over.
Yeah, what they're doing is they're redoing that to make it, new asphalt, new pavement. And they came in and got or applied for a permit and went through the encroachment process. That's why we're before you today.
So what is that, a use variance, or what is the permit that they have to attain for that?
Well, it's an encroachment, so it's approval by the council, and then if you approve it, we would then issue a building permit for the actual physical work on site.
It just has to do with the driveways and that whole width and all of that. This one looks excessively large, and just wondered how and why we're approving
I guess
that.
this one's a little bit unique because that entire area is right away, so it's slightly different than a lot of the other situations that we've discussed. So the purview is all under the council and DPW,
Some of the west end wasn't even as part of the city of Syracuse. Some of it was the town of Geddes years ago, and the right-of-ways are consistently larger in some of the, it's the way it is.
Got it. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Counselor Hogan.
And I have
President McKenna.
waiver. I have a waiver, and asked for a waiver. This Polish Independence Day was May 1st. I sort of dropped the ball on it, and I want to have a proclamation for another event, the Polish Home.
Not a proclamation.
Not a proclamation. Thank you very much, City Clerk. Resolution. So.
All righty. All righty, we did it in 45 minutes. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I need a second. All in favor? We're adjourned.
That resolution I need.